How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just wanted to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite from last night, which was May 28th, 2021. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match one, it was Darby Allin versus Cesar Benoni. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Darby Allin went over with the coffin drop, but after the match, Sting came in the ring with Darby Allin, and Darby Allin got a microphone and was pretty much saying that, pretty much calling out Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, saying he didn't want them jumping him and Sting from behind, that he wanted to fight him face to face, man to man, and everything. So Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page came out, and Scorpio Sky was pretty much saying, "Oh, so boys, you think we're gonna fight you in our fancies? Grow up." And then Scorpio Sky was also talking about how him and Ethan Page were gonna beat the shit out of Sting and Darby Allin, and at Double or Nothing 3 and everything. And Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page left, and the Wingmen, which are Peter Avalon, Cesar Benoni, Ryan Nemeth, and J.D. Drake, attacked Sting and Darby Allin from behind, beating the shit out of them, and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page came down to the ring and joined in on the attack, and the Wingmen left, and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page were picking up the scraps that the Wingmen done to Sting and Darby Allin. But the Dark Order, which are Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, 5, 10, and Colt Cabana, came down for the save, and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page retreated, and so Sting, Darby Allin, and the Dark Order stood tall and everything, which that was cool. Match 2, it was Hangman Page versus Joey Janela. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Hangman Page went over with the buckshot lariat. Well, after the match, Taz got on the microphone and was pretty much saying to Hangman Page that he wanted to introduce a friend of his, and that was the Machine Brian Cage. And Taz was pretty much telling Hangman Page that Brian Cage wanted to come out and say hello. So Brian Cage came out to the ring, and Hangman Page got on the microphone and was telling Taz, Hangman Page was telling Taz to shut the hell up, and Hangman Page was saying that he knew Team Taz's plan and everything, and Hangman Page was pretty much calling out Ricky Starks and Hook, and so Ricky Starks and Hook came along, and Hangman Page was telling Brian Cage, "Oh, so you're going to depend on Team Taz to whoop my ass. So how about you leave Team Taz behind and try to beat my ass yourself?" And so Brian Cage had Ricky Starks and Hook stay back, and Brian Cage was telling Hangman Page that this Sunday at Double or Nothing 3, he don't need Team Taz to whoop his ass, because he will whoop his ass and everything. So Hangman Page and Brian Cage stared each other down and everything, which that was cool. Match 3, it was Jade Cargill versus Kylan King. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Jade Cargill went over with the Jaded. Match 4, it was Miro versus Dante Martin for the AEW TNT title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Miro went over and retained the AEW TNT title with the game over. Well, after the match, as Miro was celebrating his AEW TNT title victory against Dante Martin after letting go of the Game Over finally, Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts came out. Jake the Snake Roberts had the microphone and was telling Miro to shut the fuck up, that him and Lance Archer have had enough, and Jake the Snake Roberts was pretty much telling Miro that at Double or Nothing 3, his fairy tale was going to be over because him and Lance Archer don't play fairy tales and everything. And Miro got on the microphone and calling Jake the Snake Roberts an old fart, and telling him to shut the hell up. And Miro was pretty much telling Jake the Snake Roberts to let loose of Lance Archer and let him come down and fight him. So Jake the Snake Roberts told Lance Archer sick him. So Lance Archer went in the ring, and so Lance Archer and Miro went at it, and Lance Archer went for the choke slam to Miro, but Miro got out of it, and then Lance Archer punched Miro in the face a couple times, and then all the referees and the coaches and trainers came out, and Lance Archer executed a big boot to Miro, and Miro went out of the ring, and so the referees and the trainers and the coaches had to break it up, and Miro tried to come back into the ring, but Lance Archer punched Miro in the face, and Miro fell down, and Jake the Snake Roberts was going on and on the microphone, and then told Lance Archer to come on, and Lance Archer was pacing around the ring and everything, while Miro was holding up the AEW TNT title and everything, which that was cool. And match 5, which was the main event, it was Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page versus the Dark Order, which are Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page went over because Ethan Page pinned Evil Uno with the Ego's Edge. Well, after the match, as Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page were still in the ring, Ethan Page got on the microphone and talked about how this Sunday at AEW Double or Nothing 3, no matter if it was the heel hook from Scorpio Sky or the Ego's Edge from himself, Ethan Page, they were going to take out Sting and Darby Allin and everything. And then Sting's music hit, and Darby Allin came out with a bunch of stingers, pretty much a bunch of people with Sting masks and everything, and Darby Allin went after Ethan Page, beating the shit out of him, and Scorpio Sky was beating the shit out of all the people in the Sting masks, and then Scorpio Sky tried to beat the shit out of someone in a Sting mask, but the guy in the Sting mask took the Sting mask off, and it was revealed to be Sting. So after Scorpio Sky saw that it was Sting, Scorpio Sky retreated, and Ethan Page retreated as well, and so Sting and Darby Allin stood tall in the ring, and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page were standing out of the ring looking on and everything, which that was cool. But besides the matches, Cody Rhodes and Anthony Ogogo had a weigh-in, and it was hosted by Paul White. So Paul White came out, done the introduction of saying how it feels good to have fans back in AEW, and was pretty much breaking down the weigh-in of Cody Rhodes and Anthony Ogogo, and Paul White introduced Anthony Ogogo. Well, Anthony Ogogo came out with the rest of the factory members, which are QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, Nick Comoroto, and some other guy, I can't remember his name. And QT Marshall was going on the microphone asking the fans why were they booing Paul White and everything. And then also was going off on him for booing Anthony Ogogo and everything as well. Well, the Factory were outside the ring, and Anthony Ogogo got in the ring, and then Paul White introduced Cody Rhodes. Well, Cody Rhodes came out with Dustin Rhodes, Arn Anderson, Red Velvet, Teal Runnels, which is Cody and which is Dustin and Cody's sister, and a lot of the students of the Nightmare Factory. They all came out with Cody Rhodes, and so Paul White done the weigh-in Paul White done the weigh-in, but Cody Rhodes got on the scale, and Paul White weighed Cody Rhodes in at 218 pounds, and then Anthony Ogogo got on the scale, and Paul White weighed Anthony Ogogo in at 219 pounds. And then Paul White made the announcement that Cody Rhodes weighs in at 218 pounds and Anthony Ogogo weighs in at 219 pounds. Well, QT Marshall got all pissed off and was saying that Anthony Ogogo was heavier and weighed more than Cody Rhodes and everything. And then Cody Rhodes got on the microphone as the Factory. Well, Cody Rhodes got on the microphone and was thanking the fans and for supporting him and coming out to the show, and thanking Paul White for hosting the weigh-in and everything, while Dustin Rhodes tried to attack QT Marshall, but the Factory retreated. But as Cody Rhodes was talking, and after he got done talking, Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, Arn Anderson, and Paul White were still in the ring as the Factory, which are QT Marshall, Nick Camarado, Aaron Solo, Anthony Ogogo, and that other guy were outside the ring staring each other down and everything, which that was cool. AEW aired a video package of the build-up of the match between the Inner Circle, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz, versus the Pinnacle, which are MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, in a Stadium Stampede match at Double or Nothing 3, which that was cool. Christian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs brawled backstage and were beating the shit out of each other, and the referees had to come back there and break it up and everything, which that was cool. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston cut a promo, and John Moxley and Eddie Kingston were pretty much in a backyard somewhere burying the Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson's Nike shoes, and John Moxley was asking how much those shoes were worth, and Eddie Kingston was saying, "Don't know, don't care," and John Moxley was calling the shoes ugly, and then John Moxley was going on about trusting Eddie Kingston with his life and everything, was talking about how he wanted the AEW tag team title belts, and Eddie Kingston was going on saying that once him and John Moxley beat the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing 3 for the AEW tag team titles, that the Young Bucks were going to quit because they already quit on AEW, and Eddie Kingston was also talking about how him and John Moxley may be the next executive vice presidents of AEW, and John Moxley was saying he didn't want that position and everything. Well, John Moxley and Eddie Kingston were going on about how they were going to beat the Young Bucks' ass and take the AEW tag team titles and everything, which that was cool. Tony Schiavone was getting ready to Tony Schiavone was getting ready to interview Orange Cassidy, but Pac came out and Pac made Tony Schiavone get out of the ring. So Tony Schiavone got out of the ring, and Pac got on the microphone and cut a promo saying that this Sunday at Double or Nothing 3, Orange Cassidy was going to be irrelevant, and he was going to beat the shit out of Kenny Omega and take the AEW title and everything. Well, Don Callis appeared on the Titantron with a microphone and cut a promo saying that that him and Kenny Omega were not happy with the AEW title match at Double or Nothing 3, and that Pac was a sociopath and everything, and Kenny Omega came from behind and tried to attack Pac, but Pac turned around and beat the shit out of Kenny Omega, and the Good Brothers, which are Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, came out and beat the shit out of Pac. And as the Good Brothers were beating the shit out of Pac, the Lucha Brothers, which are Rey Fenix and Pena El Cerro Miedo, came out to even the odds, and the Good Brothers retreated, and the Lucha Brothers followed behind, and Kenny Omega went to beating the shit out of Pac, and Kenny Omega went for the one-winged angel on Pac, but the Best Friends, which are Trent, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Chris Statlander came out, while Trent, Chuck Taylor, and Chris Statlander stayed on stage, while Orange Cassidy went in the ring. Well, Orange Cassidy handed Kenny Omega a envelope. Kenny Omega opened it up, and it was the contract that Kenny Omega and Don Callis gave Orange Cassidy last week. It showed the contract was ripped up, so Orange Cassidy attacked Kenny Omega with the Orange Punch and laid him out, and Orange Cassidy was getting ready to get the AEW title, but Pac stepped in, and Pac attacked Orange Cassidy and was getting ready to do the power bomb to Orange Cassidy, but Orange Cassidy got out of it, and Pac was getting ready to attack Orange Cassidy with the power bomb, but Orange Cassidy got out of it, and Orange Cassidy attacked Pac with the Orange Punch, and Orange Cassidy had the AEW title and held it up high and everything, which Orange Cassidy stood tall while Pac and Kenny Omega were laid out, which that was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Jade Cargill about Kylan King accepting Jade Cargill's open challenge and everything, and Jade Cargill was getting ready to speak, but Matt Hardy came along, and Jade Cargill was saying, not this again, and Matt Hardy was going on about how he was going to win the 21-man Casino Battle Royal and be the AEW champion, and was talking about wanting to recruit Jade Cargill in the Hardy family office, but Mark Sterling came along and said how he was a big fan of Matt Hardy, and how Matt Hardy gets 30% of his clients' earnings and everything, and was talking about how Jade Cargill decided to sign with him, and unlike Matt Hardy, he was going to unlike Matt Hardy getting 30% of his clients' earnings no matter what, Mark Sterling was going to get paid every time Jade Cargill won. Well, Mark Sterling gave Matt Hardy his business card, and Matt Hardy threw it down, and Matt Hardy was saying, "I hope you're happy with your decision." Well, Matt Hardy left, and because he was all pissed off, and Jade Cargill and Mark Sterling looked on while and Tony Schiavone left before all that too. But Jade Cargill and Mark Sterling looked on and everything, which that was cool. Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts cut a promo, and Jake the Snake Roberts was talking about how if Dante Martin won against Miro for the AEW TNT title, that Dante Martin was going to be the youngest champion in the history of professional wrestling and everything. And Lance Archer was talking about how he didn't want Dante Martin, he wanted Miro. And Lance Archer was talking about how he was going to beat the shit out of Miro at Double or Nothing 3 and take the AEW TNT title from him and everything, which that was cool. Tony Schiavone and referee Bryce Remsburg were out in the ring. Well, that promo between Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts was cool, by the way. But anyway, Tony Schiavone and referee Bryce Remsburg were out in the ring, and referee Bryce Remsburg had the new AEW Women's title, and Tony Schiavone was talking about it and everything, and Tony Schiavone introduced Hikaru Shida, and Hikaru Shida came out, and Tony Schiavone was getting ready to put the new AEW Women's title on Hikaru Shida, but he got a little bit of it in, then referee Bryce Remsburg done it, and then Tony Schiavone was interviewing Hikaru Shida about her match with Britt Baker at Double or Nothing 3 for the AEW Women's title, and also asked her about how it felt to be the women's champion and everything. Well, Hikaru Shida was going on about a year ago today, about a year ago when she won the AEW Women's title. There were no fans, but this year the fans are back, and she won that, and she's going to be the champion for all the fans and everything. And then Britt Baker came out and was going on saying how Hikaru Shida's been the women's champion in a tough time and everything. And Britt Baker was talking about how not only was she going to be the face of the AEW women's division, but she was going to be the AEW Women's Champion and everything, and was saying that years ago there was an era all about 316, which is in reference to Stone Cold Steve Austin, by the way. Well, and then Britt Baker was saying, but this time it will be the era of DMD. Well, Britt Baker left, and then Hikaru Shida continued to celebrate and then left, which that was cool. Sammy Guevara cut a promo with flashcards saying in 48 hours at Stadium Stampede, the Inner Circle were going to succeed, and was pretty much taking shots at Shawn Spears, saying that so many chairs wasn't going to be able to protect him and everything, which that was cool. And the Inner Circle, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz, had a celebration, and it was hosted by Eric Bischoff. And what happened was Eric Bischoff came out and gave an introduction saying that he was that tonight, Eric Bischoff was pretty much saying that years ago he introduced a faction on TNT, and then tonight he's going to be introducing another faction on TNT. And so Eric Bischoff introduced the Inner Circle, and then the Inner Circle came out, and Chris Jericho got on the microphone and thanked Eric Bischoff for everything he'd done for him in his career and everything. And Eric Bischoff had a video package of the Inner Circle aired, and so the Inner Circle video package aired on the Titantron. It was pretty much everything the Inner Circle done and everything. And Santana got on the microphone and was talking about how the Inner Circle have been through hell and have had great times and everything. And Ortiz was talking about how beautiful that was of Santana to say, and then Jake Hager was talking about how beautiful it was too, but Jake Hager didn't just want to remember the good times. He wanted to remember all the times that they've went through hell and high waters and everything. And then Sammy Guevara got on the microphone and was talking about how the Inner Circle have changed his life. The Inner Circle has changed his life, and when he left the Inner Circle, he regretted it, and then thanked the Inner Circle for what they done for him and everything. And then Chris Jericho got on the microphone and was talking about the Inner Circle and the good times and the bad times and everything. And then the Inner Circle embraced with a hug. And then MJF and Wardlow appeared on the Titantron in the TIA in the Jacksonville Jaguars football field, and MJF was pretty much saying how the Inner Circle, how that was touching of the Inner Circle and of their moment and everything, and then MJF ended up talking shit, and Dean and it showed that Dean Malenko was laid out, and MJF was pretty much saying that if the Inner Circle don't get here in 5 seconds, they had 5 seconds to get there to the football field, but if they didn't get there in 5 seconds, that the Iceman Dean Malenko was going to be toasted and everything. And the Inner Circle headed to the football field, and then the Pinnacle, which are Shawn Spears, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, attacked Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz from behind, who were beating the shit out of them, and then Chris Jericho was even out on the football field and got jumped too, and Chris Jericho and Jake Hager went out to the football field, but MJF and Wardlow attacked the Inner Circle and beat the shit out of them, and Tully Blanchard was standing there taunting and everything as well. Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler executed a double pile driver to Santana and Ortiz through a table. Wardlow executed a pile driver to Jake Hager on the football field. Shawn Spears executed a pile driver to Sammy Guevara on a football field. And MJF executed Shawn Spears executed the pile driver to Sammy Guevara through a steel chair, and MJF executed the pile driver to Chris Jericho on the football field. And after that, the Pinnacle, which are MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, and Tully Blanchard, stood tall and everything. And MJF cut a promo saying, when you're in the Pinnacle, you're always on top and everything, which that was cool. But besides all that, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. And Taz done guest commentary along with Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur during the match between Hangman Page versus Joey Janela. Taz done great on guest commentary. Now, the referees for the event were Rick Knox, Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, and Aubrey Edwards. Okay. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Darby Allin versus Cesar Benoni. Rick Knox refereed the match between Hangman Page versus Joey Janela. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Jade Cargill versus Kylan King. Paul Turner refereed the match between Miro versus Dante Martin for the AEW TNT title. And Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page versus the Dark Order. All the referees done awesome as usual. Okay, now the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Double or Nothing. The match card for All Elite Wrestling's Double or Nothing 3 this Sunday. For the pre-show, it's going to be Serena Deeb versus Riho for the NWA Women's title. That's for the pre-show. And for the main show, it's going to be Kenny Omega versus Pac versus Orange Cassidy in a three-way match for the AEW TNT. No, wait. The match card for AEW's. The match card for AEW's Double or Nothing 3. For the pre-show, it's going to be Serena Deeb versus Riho for the NWA Women's title. And for the main show, it's going to be Kenny Omega versus Pac versus Orange Cassidy in a three-way match for the AEW title. The Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson, versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston for the AEW Tag Team titles. Miro versus Lance Archer for the AEW TNT title. Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker for the AEW Women's title. Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. The Inner Circle, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz, versus The Pinnacle, which are MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler in a Stadium Stampede match. And if the Inner Circle lose, they'll have to break up forever. Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo. Hangman Page versus Brian Cage, and a 21-man casino battle royal to determine the number one contender for the AEW title sometime down the road. And the contestants in the 21-man casino battle royal are Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, The Blade, Evil Uno, 10, Colt Cabana, Jungle Boy, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, QT Marshall, Nick Camarado, Pena El Cerro Miedo, Brian Pillman Jr., Griff Garrison, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and a mystery opponent. So, pretty much all that I covered is the match card for AEW's Double or Nothing 3 for the pre-show and the main show. But, I'm looking forward to watching AEW's Double or Nothing 3 tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. The match card and everything looks like it's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see it. And with that being said, but anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite from last night, which was May 28th, 2021. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road.